Flameo, Hotman! I hope you've packed a healthy supply of cabbages because it's time to hop on our trusty Sky Bison and take a tour of the new and returning mechanics of Magic the Gathering Avatar: The Last Airbender. First up, of course, are the 4 kinds of bending. Send your emotions into the flames and get ready to unleash the power of firebending on your opponents with cards like Fire Lord Zuko. The first human firebenders learned their bending techniques from the dragons, and now you can produce and control fire in the form of red mana. When a creature you control with firebending attacks, you'll add an amount of red mana to your mana pool, indicated by the firebending number. That mana sticks around through all of combat, but make sure you use it before the battle is over because it disappears at the end of your combat step. Firebending is overpowering force. That's your red mana, paired with an unflinching drive to achieve your goals. That's the instance you might cast with that mana, or the many activated abilities on cards with firebending that will let you put your mana to good use before combat is over. For example, Zuko, Exiled Prince, lets you spend that 3 firebending mana to exile a card from your library that you can then play that turn. Everything changed when the Fire Nation attacked, and with firebending, your combat step will change as well. Next, it's time to detach yourself from worldly problems and concerns as you practice your airbending technique. And while you're at it, detach some permanents from the battlefield as well. When you airbend a spell or permanent, you'll exile it. As long as that spell remains exiled, its controller can cast it for 2 generic mana. Normal timing rules still apply when casting a spell that was the target of an airbending ability, meaning creatures and sorceries still need to be cast from exile during their controller's main phase. Airbenders learn their bending from the Sky Bison, and Appa, Steadfast Guardian, is here to remind you that you can airbend your own permanents as well. Maybe you need to keep them out of harm's way, or maybe they have a great enters the battlefield ability that you'd like to repeat. Air is the element of freedom, and airbending gives you the freedom to whisk your permanents out of harm's way, or to sweep away your opponent's threats, if only for a little while. Water is the element of change, and how you pay for a waterbending cost can change from one moment to the next. Waterbending can show up as an alternative cost for a spell, a cost to activate an ability, or anywhere that you might be asked to pay mana. To pay a waterbending cost, first look to the moon and observe how it pushes and pulls the tide. Okay, now you can pay that cost by tapping the required amount of mana, or you can tap untapped creatures or artifacts you control to help pay it. Each creature or artifact you tap pays for 1 generic mana in a waterbending cost. Waterbending is fluid and harmonious, illustrated by cards like Katara, Waterbending Prodigy. Katara gets a +1/+1 counter on your end step if she's tapped, and also has a waterbending ability. You can tap Katara to help pay for that ability, and hey, now you're going to get that counter as well. Earthbenders learn their techniques from the Badger Moles, and when you Earthbend, you'll master the skill of turning your lands into creatures that can attack or defend as needed. Like Firebend, Earthbend is a keyword ability that will always include a number. When you Earthbend, you'll choose a target land you control. It becomes a 0/0 creature with haste that's still a land, and then you'll put counters on it equal to that Earthbending number. Like the people of the Earth Kingdom, your lands are strong and enduring, so when an Earthbent land dies or is put into exile, it returns to the battlefield tapped, but without its +1/+1 counters. Some Earthbenders, like Earthbending Student, will also give your creature lands additional abilities, rendering them even more useful in your battles. The world of Avatar: The Last Airbender is a rich tapestry that encompasses much more than just the benders and their abilities. And 5 returning mechanics or card types reflect the many stories that unfold across the 4 nations. Double-faced sagas tell the tales of past avatars and other important figures before transforming and incarnating those figures on the battlefield. The Rise of Sozin, for example, recounts the terrifying ascent of the Fire Nation and brings Fire Lord Sozin himself to the battlefield when it reaches the 3rd chapter. Clues are back, helping you to track Aang and friends across the 4 nations. A handful of cards in the set have Exhaust, because sometimes you need to give it your all in one final push to get the upper hand in battle. 2 subtypes return as well. Lessons, a subtype on some instants and sorceries, are back. Some cards will reward you for casting lessons, while others will have a greater effect if you have lessons in your graveyard. Shrines, an enchantment subtype, return as well. Shrines are legendary and reward you for visiting, or in this case, controlling a lot of them. Aang and the gang's travels are filled with surprising allies, and the draft archetypes in Avatar: The Last Airbender reflect the truth that you never know who you'll meet on your journey, or what aid they might provide. 10 unique draft archetypes, one for each color pair, mean that you can harness the power of both the most likely and the most unlikely of duos. If this preview has given you a thirst for playing Magic the Gathering Avatar: The Last Airbender, head on out to your local game store for a pre-release event happening November 14th through the 20th. It'll quench ya! Use the companion app or locator.wizards.com to find an event near you. Magic the Gathering Avatar: The Last Airbender is available on MTG Arena beginning on November 18th and everywhere November 21st. You've got everything you need, so let's get going. Yip yip!